guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at another mold from Epic Bait Molds. One that I've talked about here on the channel and kind of been eyeballing for a while. This is the 1.6 inch ice jerk, and it is a crappie or ice fishing style bait, which is something that we don't really have a lot of in our lineup right now. This is, like I said, 1.6 inch, so it's going to be a little smaller than that crappie slayer, but still an awesome profile. And what excites me the most about this mold is that it is a 48 cavity. So you can do, if say you're selling baits and you want to do bags of a dozen, you can get 4, or if you want to do bags of 16, you can get 3 bags in one shot. So that is super awesome. I'm going to sell them in bags of 16 just because they're that smaller profile, and I want to sell them in a little more than a dozen since they are a little smaller. But that is kind of what we're working with. We're going to get you some good looks at this mold over here under the light. But what we're going to do for colors, we're going to use 2 mica powder colors. We are going to use this off-white cream color, which is going to be one of them. And then we are going to custom make a blue pearl dry, which is a blue mica powder that has a lot of metallic look, which I am a big fan of. And we're just going to see how it turns out. Do 2 quick, easy shots into this mold and just check out how it shoots, get an idea for it. I only bought this mold to do single color. It will laminate, but I only bought it to do single color just because I want something that I can do single shots in, do them quick, get a lot of quantity out, and really stock up and maybe offer some cheaper bags of crappie style baits as opposed to the crappie slayer. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get this plastic hot. We'll jump over here and get some better looks at this and check it out. All right, this is the 1.6 inch ice jerk. As you can see, beautiful finish on it. You can see my reflection so well there. But yeah, very nice quality mold, very good finish on this thing. As you can expect with all the Epic molds, are very similar in quality and fit and finish. So that's kind of what we expected and right on par with that. But let's open this thing up now that I am allowed to get some fingerprints on it. Set this over here. This is what we're working with. This is that 1.6 inch awesome profile to catch some crappie on. It's going to pair good with a small jig head, probably 1/8 ounce or smaller. 1/8 ounce is probably going to be pushing it on the upper end of this. So probably 16th or 32nd is going to be ideal for this style of jig here. But that's what we're working with. 48 cavity, ribbed section here. There is not a tail mold for this, which you might be sad to find out. But I've cut the tails off of these and put them into the 20 cavity version of this mold, and getting the tails in is not a good time. So with that being said, I wouldn't worry too much about there not being a tail mold because it is rough. If you want a fork tail like this, I would look at something like the Crappie Crusher, and it has a tail like that, and there is a tail mold. So that is an avenue if you are interested in doing separate color tails. If you're curious where we're at with the airbrushing station, this is kind of what we got going. I got a few colors over here, as well as a TV on the wall. That way I can use it as a monitor and throw pictures up there if I'm trying to replicate something, or just be able to watch videos in the shop. I've got some more colors on the way, but this is just a few what we're working with, and I actually haven't painted anything yet, so we're just now kind of getting started. But yeah, that is a little update on the airbrushing station. Okay, we're going to start working through this color and kind of let those bubbles get out as we do this. But what we're going to start with is this blue pearl dry. This is a mica powder that you can get on Amazon in a pack, and it's pretty cheap. You get like a variety. I don't even know how many it came with, a lot, and I haven't even used them. And I've had this since I pretty much have started bait making, so it's been a long time. Which I don't use them all the time, but they are nice here and there for something a little different. Okay, sprinkle some of that in there. And we're just building 1 cup of this, so we'll just kind of see how it goes. This is just going to be some one-off stuff. We'll see if that's enough. I'm kind of going for a teal color here. Mix this up. We may have to add some blue in the form of pigment just to make it a little darker. Yeah, that wasn't near enough. I'm going to definitely have to put some more of this in here. Okay, there's some more. We'll drizzle it on there. Give it a little mix. It doesn't look as dark in person as it does on camera. To remedy that, I am going to add a little bit of this Bait Plastics blue and see what we can do. We're going to start with just one drop. The blue is pretty potent from Bait Plastics. So let's see what this does. I'm going for a little bit of a teal color. This is definitely more teal than blue. It looks a lot more blue on the camera, but that's okay. Now we're going to do a little bit of a spin off here and probably go a direction that you're not expecting. We're going to add a little bit of this blue bar flake. You can get this at Walmart. I'm going to add some of this in here. Maybe if I can get it to come out of the thing here. We'll start with that. We don't want a ton, but a little bit. Okay, so I changed my mind a little bit with the way that I was going to go. We've added this blue bar flake, as you saw, and now we're actually going to add some lure works. This is the poly glitter in the 2-ounce bottle, 0.025 hex in the chartreuse color. Sorry, I know that was a lot of information all of a sudden. Holy crap, this stuff is messy. But that is what we're working with. We're going to add some of this in there and just go for something kind of one-off. Okay, let's not get overwhelmed here. Starting to make a mess. Let's mix some of that up. Okay, let's try that. We'll see how that looks in some baits, but overall I'm pretty pleased with it in the cup. Okay, we've got this color mixed up now, and it looks pretty good. It's different. I'm excited to shoot something a little bit different. Go ahead and pull this up. I don't think it's going to take a lot, but we'll just have to see. Okay, first shot. Okay, heard a lot of air come out of that, a lot more than normal, but I'm guessing that that is typical of this mold. You guys are seeing my first time reaction to it. I have not shot this mold before, and I just like to do the first time on camera if I can. Okay, shot really well. I'm gonna go ahead and top that off, and I'm just gonna watch it to see how much it's gonna sink. The baits are pretty small, so it probably won't be too big an issue. Well, we'll just keep an eye on it. Make sure there is a lot of cavities. Granted, they're not very big, but we'll just have to watch. It's probably gonna be one of those things that depend on the temperature too. And another thing to consider is there's side runners that go over and then down, which might help with the plastic shrinkage issue in the long run. So we'll wait for these to cool off. I'll go ahead and start getting the other color hot, and we'll check out some baits. All right, now we're gonna do this off-white color. Go ahead and pull this up in the injector. This is a 4-ounce injector, if you're wondering. And a 4 ounce is plenty to do this. I'm gonna say that I'm probably not even using half of the injector. You do hear a lot of air come out though, that is for sure. It's easy to tell when that mold fills up because you can hear so much air coming out of it. And it's probably just because there's so many different cavities for that air to get out of. Okay, first demold out of this new mold. See if we can separate it. Okay, it looks like they're all gonna wanna stick in that side, so maybe I can flip it over. Okay. Check these out up close. That is kind of what we're working with. They look pretty good. Hard to tell a lot about them in the mold just because the mold is so shiny. There we go. Check that out. That is exactly what I was hoping would happen. They turned out really well, and I think that's going to be a nice addition to the store. Gives us a little bit different profile, a little smaller profile. Also gives us a fork tail. I wanted something different than the Crappie Slayer, and that definitely achieves that. Pretty big fan of the color. I think it could use maybe some bigger blue flake or something. Just something to give it a little more contrast, but it's more about the profile anyways at this point. But yeah, that is the first round of demolds. Alright, let's demold the off-white color. As you can see, it didn't sink barely any in there, and that was after the mold was shot the first time. Okay. There is the off-white color. And I haven't had any problems with the tails not turning out, which is something that can be tricky when you have such a small appendage like that. But even shooting these, around normal temp, I'm not having any problems. I'm not having to manipulate my shooting environment to make them work. They're just working, and that's always a good thing to be seeing. But I'll pull these out of here for you guys. There is that nice off-white color, very subtle. You can see that forked tail has a lot of action, and I'm gonna pair it up with a jig head just to let you check it out so you can kind of get a gauge a little more on the scale of these. But yeah, that is them in the off-white color. This is the 1/8 ounce to 16th ounce comparison here. That 1/8 ounce is on the top there, and you can just see it's just a little bit too much hook for such a small profile. I don't have as much of a problem running that 1/8 ounce on a crappie slayer, but on something a little smaller, I would recommend stepping down to like a 16th, or you can even step down even further if that's something you want to do, but I have no problem throwing it even on a 16th, like that bottom one there. The fish don't seem to mind it, and I seem to catch plenty of fish doing that, but that is just a little bit of a comparison, so you kind of have a little bit of an idea on what size hooks to order. Okay, so that is kind of the finished product there. I didn't have any issues shooting this mold. Everything worked out just kind of like I expected it to. As far as bags go, I'm going to use my standard 4x6 bag, and then I'm going to just try to put 16 in here and keep the tails as straight as I can, but I think that will work out just fine, and if it's not, I'll tweak it a little bit, but I think we can get 16 in a bag like that, no problem. As for pricing, these are going to be a little cheaper than the crappie slayers on the store, and you will get a few more per bag, assuming that we stick with the 16 count, which I'm pretty positive is going to be the case. But yeah, that is kind of what you can expect. They'll probably be a little bit cheaper per bag, and then like I said, you'll get 16, or they'll be the same price and you'll get more. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to say that they're probably going to be a little cheaper, and there will definitely be more. So that's kind of what you can expect. So there you have it. That is a wrap up on a little bit of an impression video on this 1.6-inch ice jerk from Epic Bait Molds. If you want to pick up this mold, I'll leave a link in the description below to Epic Bait Molds, where you can head on down there and pick up this mold. And they also have a 20 cavity version if you do not want to shovel out the dough for the 48, or you just don't need it. They do have a 20 cavity version as well that you can check out. With their molds, you do get some stickers, which are super awesome and very good quality. This mold was $220 at the time of filming this. I don't know if that price will ever change. That would be completely up to them. But I paid $220 of my own money, and I am still happy with the results. This is not a sponsored video. It is just sharing my impressions with you guys. And I'll probably do another video later on laminating this, but for right now, the only reason I really bought it was to do single color and to do them quickly, and it works great for that. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, stick around. We're always checking out new stuff here on the channel, and it does help out tremendously. If you want to pick up any of the baits that come out of this mold, there'll be a link in the description below to my store over on Etsy, and all that money gets to go back into this so that I can keep being able to afford things like this to check out here on the channel. All the money you guys spend does go back into this, and it is pretty much a money pit for me. This is not super profitable as far as how much money I'm dumping into this, so your orders really do help fund this project. So I do appreciate everyone who buys stuff over on the store and just hangs out here on YouTube. It really does help us out tremendously. But until the next video, I will catch you guys in the next one.